You slept with your boss's biggest rival. You used to be your boss's mistress at the company where you worked. The very first time you slept together, you brought up marriage, but he shut it down, saying he needed to build his career first. He strung you along with that excuse for 5 years. What you didn't realize was that he was already married. With nowhere left to turn, you crossed paths with his sworn enemy. An idea hit you. You decided to sleep with your boss's rival. What you didn't know was that this was exactly what he had planned. From that day on, you started seeing him regularly, sleeping together over and over again. Then one day, he slipped something into your drink. While you were out of it, he extracted every piece of confidential information directly from the company you worked for. The next day, your boss was furious. It didn't take long before everything about you was exposed. He handed you over to the police, and only then did it finally hit you. The most dangerous lie about money isn't that getting rich is easy, it's the one you've been told over and over. That your current struggle is because you lack time, capital, or experience. That story feels comforting. It lets you stay innocent. It pushes the blame onto things outside your control. But if you keep telling yourself you are too busy, too broke, too early, chances are you're not protecting your potential, you are burying it. Look back at the past week you just lived. Not the ideal version, the real one. The screen time report you swiped away before even eating breakfast. The just 15 minutes of scrolling that turned into 2 hours late at night. The pile of random tabs open on your laptop. That's where the problem is. Most people get offended by this. Because they confuse being busy with being productive. You can be exhausted and still build nothing. You can rush between classes, reply to messages, complain about stress, crash into bed, and still never spend a single moment of your peak energy. Actually moving your income forward, that's the trap. The second lie is even more seductive. If I had money, I'd start. For most online paths, that excuse falls apart instantly in the real world. You don't need a warehouse, you don't need investors, you don't need some dramatic first chunk of capital. Most of the time, all you need is a phone and a laptop. And the willingness to be bad at something long enough to become useful. That's it. The third shield is experience. As if the people making good money today were born knowing client management, design, coding, sales, positioning, pricing, customer service, or marketing. They weren't. They learned by doing. So let's be blunt, for a lot of students, the problem isn't impossible, it's misallocated. You have time, but it's fragmented. You have tools, but you use them to consume instead of produce. That should sting a little. Good, it's supposed to. Because if the story you've been telling yourself is false, that's actually great news. So when you see all these paths labeled $10,000 a month, don't confuse the outcome with the path. Different paths require completely different inputs. Some take 2 weeks to start, 3 months to build, and 2 years to scale. Some require 10 to 20 hours a week, consistently. Others demand time, effort, and capital, all at once. Same number, totally different journey. That's why so many people don't fail because opportunities are fake. They fail because they compare outcomes, not timelines. They look at income screenshots, not the cost behind them. If you only focus on results, every path looks the same. Here's the harsh part. The market doesn't reward effort evenly. 2 students can both stay up late, grind on weekends, stare at their screens at 1 a.m., and end up with completely different incomes. Why? Because the market doesn't primarily pay for effort. It pays for leverage, ownership, and who controls the flow of money. The same applies to service work. A lot of people think freelancing is just selling time. That's only half true. If what you offer is a generic skill anyone can learn in a week, you're competing in the cheapest lane, constantly getting undercut. But if you move into areas companies consistently outsource, like managing Google Ads, the game changes. Businesses already need traffic, and they understand the value of platforms like Google. The people most likely to get stuck are beginners, students, people with no resources, and those constantly told to create content. Build a personal brand, or start your own thing. It sounds freeing, but in reality, it pushes you into the most crowded space. You take on all the risk, production, marketing, time, emotional pressure. You create, post, wait for clicks, obsess over numbers. And when nothing happens, you start doubting yourself. Meanwhile, the real winner is often the platform. That's why even something like career coaching, something that doesn't sound technical, can make money. Because it's tied to high-value situations. Job hunting, resumes, LinkedIn profiles, salary negotiation. People don't pay for time. They pay to reduce uncertainty that has value. And as a student, you can start building ownership too. Not a company yet, but a niche skill, a repeatable process, a set of case studies, a reputation. Those are assets, and assets compound. The same pattern repeats everywhere. A data scientist might need years to reach a high salary in a company because income is capped. But if they have a website and a source of clients, the value of their skills changes because now they own traffic and connections. That bridge determines where money flows. So if this makes you uncomfortable, good. Once you see it clearly, you stop treating hard work as a complete strategy. Effort matters, but only if you understand where value flows. Are you making platforms richer or building your own assets? Are you fighting for the smallest dollars in the most crowded market? Or getting closer to clients with budgets and repeat demand? That's what determines whether you earn once or keep earning. Once you have proof, marketing stops being abstract. You're no longer asking people to believe you, you're showing them. At that point, even taking lower-paying work makes sense. You're building clients, refining your service, establishing credibility, moving towards stable income. Here's the core move: one direction, 25 minutes a day, one asset, consistent tracking, simple, boring, effective. After 2 weeks, you won't just feel different, you'll have evidence in your hands. And this last point matters. Your goal isn't to do a side hustle forever. It's to build enough proof, cash flow, and optionality. The process won't always feel smooth. Some months are dead quiet. You refresh your stats and nothing happens. Then suddenly, a client renews. A post takes off. A deal closes. That's reality. Long stretches of stability, with occasional spikes. So measure the right things. Don't ask, will this make me rich? Ask, does this reduce my stress? Does this create assets? A few $100s a month isn't flashy, but it pays bills. One article that consistently brings in traffic isn't exciting, but it's working. A small store isn't impressive, but it proves you can sell. What you're building isn't luxury, it's a buffer. A way to stop every expense from controlling your life. The internet pushes you to chase explosive growth. But in reality, the ones who survive are the ones who win. So the ending is simple. You might not control how fast the market rewards you, but you control whether you're still in the game. Pick a direction, build one asset. Do one extra piece of outreach you didn't feel like doing. If you had to choose the most stable path for the next 90 days, not the flashiest one, which would it be? Freelancing, blogging, flipping products, or video editing? And before today ends, what's the first small asset you can create?